Hey, hello everybody. We are coming tonight from Behind the Witch's Veil, which will also be streamed to Within the Cauldron. Okay. Tonight we have a friend from Texas, a very special friend. This is Tiffany. Now, the reason why I say Tiffany's special is because she has 17 haunted dolls. 17. Now, You know, we got Annabelle that's out there that's going around to different places, scaring everybody and everything. So it's kind of nice to have Tiffany come on with her dolls. It's kind of like a good time. So I'm glad that she could make it. And everybody, this is Tiffany. And Tiffany, you have 17 dolls. Okay. Now, can you name them all off the bat, or is that gonna be like, "Oh my gosh?"
Um, I have quite well, I've actually the last time that I had met you, I had what, 15? So I had
50?
added two more.
Mhm.
Um, and well, it just seems to keep growing every time, right? Um, I can name most of them. Um, the thing about with haunted dolls is a lot of times finding out their name, right? Um,
Mhm. Yeah.
that's the thing. Because with haunted objects, they come with a person that may be attached to the object for whatever the reason may be,
Mhm.
especially when it comes to dolls.
Yeah.
So, and I was also given two particular dolls. She didn't think that they had anything attached to them, but she just knew me off of Facebook and me working at the haunted doll house here in San Antonio. She actually started thinking about, well, maybe there is something attached to the dolls. I don't know. So
Oh.
she just sent me these two dolls. She asked if I felt anything with the dolls, was there names or anything attached? And yes, they actually do have two spirits attached to them that are related to her family. I found out,
Oh,
and I
wow.
have an EMF detector. I sent her a video back to her, and she was actually crying. She had no idea. She just had these dolls in her room. Her name is Tony, and she had these dolls for about a good lifetime with her, good 40, 50 years, just not thinking anything of them. So it would be mind blowing for a lot of people that
Mhm.
stuff you have in your room actually has energy. But a lot of the dolls that I have been investigated by people, and they come from haunted places. But I would probably say I can name most of them. The newest ones I do have, her name is Clarabelle,
Oh, I like that.
and yeah, Clarabelle. She kind of has like little devil horns to her. Um, I got her from somebody. Him and his mom actually they refurbish dolls and stuff, and they get them from all kinds of people. They don't really know where the dolls are coming from. They just get
Mhm.
it anonymous, so they really don't know. Um, and I always go over there and I feel what doll calls to me. And a lot of times a lot of the dolls that I have from them have an attachment to them. So there's a reason why I have them. And a lot of them, their stories are really sad. But the most recent one is obviously Clarabelle. Let me show you what she looks like. Give you an idea.
Oh, she looks cute.
So this is Miss Clarabelle.
Oh.
Now, the spirit attached to her is a 70-year-old woman who died of breast cancer.
Oh.
You could not tell that from just looking at her. People see this doll. She's got the little devil horns.
Mhm.
Like, goodness, why would you want something like that? So
Mhm.
a lot of the dolls that I have, you would just pass by them. You wouldn't think anything about them. I do have another one. Um, she came from a paranormal group, actually.
Oh.
Um, they go by the name of NP Paranormal. You can look them up. They are on Facebook. Paraflix, which is like a paranormal Netflix for all
Mhm.
things paranormal. This is Rebecca.
Oh,
She
well,
was
hi, Rebecca.
she was apparently in their storage for since the 1970s. They really don't know anything
Oh,
about her.
wow.
They were just doing inventory. She was raped and murdered. So she's
Oh.
only 16 years old and she's adorable little doll, but looking
Oh.
at this doll you wouldn't think about that. Um Probably the most famous that everybody probably knows me for. Let me get him. And of course he's sitting close to him and my other doll. Sorry, my cat. Is this doll. Okay.
I remember her. I don't
Okay. It
remember
looks
the
like a
name,
it looks like a girl, right? It looks like a girl.
but
However,
yes, I
his,
remember that now.
his name is Ollie. There's a male spirit
Yeah.
attached to this doll. And Ollie is a Texas Revolutionary soldier from the Battle of San Juanicito that's attached to this doll. People have investigated this doll, including paranormal teams, and he left me a big, lovely handprint on my mirror over there.
Oh,
And his
wow.
name has been brought up many times. He's been able to manifest himself to people. They've seen a black shadow apparition, everything. So he is 100% haunted.
Oh,
That is
wow.
an actual fact. People have taken EMF detectors and everything to him. So, although it looks like a pretty red-haired lady, he is not.
It's
Don't
not.
let him trick you. He's a smart butt. He can be lovable, but he's a smart butt. He's a very intelligent soul. So, yeah, he's very protective. He's protective of my home. He doesn't like anybody disturbing his peace. So, yes.
So, how did you get started collecting them?
Let me show you my first doll and I'll explain. And
Okay.
yes, Annabelle was at this recent property, but I'll explain about the history of the property before we all start going crazy. So this doll is the first doll that I just bought
Oh,
while I was there at Victoria's Black Swan Inn. Now her name is Jolene Park. She's actually buried on the property. So what had happened was about 2 years ago, my best friend Manny,
mhm,
and Arlene, we decided to be vendors for their paranormal festival through the Curious Twins Paranormal. They're the ones that hold the events for the Psychic, Spirit Fest, and all of that stuff. And they run it with the person that owns the property, which is Miss Rivera. She's the one that owns the home. She actually lives in the home, by the way. She's a current
mhm.
homeowner. And we went over there because we were like, we like spooky things. Let's go check it out. We make spooky stuff. Let's see what it's all about. Whoop whoop. So, okay, so we went over there and we were all excited. We were very excited. When we went over there, they do have some gift shops on the property. And those gift shops actually turned out to be the old carriage house where they used to hold the old carriages back
Mhm,
in the old days. Me and Arlene stepped into one of the shops there, and the owner that owns that current shop, he's a mortician, and he was, real friendly and everything. And I noticed Miss Lovely Jolene was just the only doll in there sitting on this nice velvet chair.
mhm,
We had other dolls, but it said you cannot touch, and they were by a lot of old mortician things, a child's casket and stuff. And my friend was really eyeballing this book. It was called The Book of the Dead, and she's like, I want that. And he's like, no touchy, no touchy. But she really wanted that, and I was like, I mean, he said no. She's like a little girl. She whatever she wants, she's like, I want. And I'm like, mm-mm. So, anyways, so we saw this doll, and we just found it so random. We were just like, okay, you know what? But I thought she was the most beautiful doll that I'd ever seen.
She is.
Luckily,
She's
my
very pretty.
yeah, and I had never actually owned porcelain dolls as a child. I've always had stuffed animals. My grandparents would try to give me Barbie dolls. I was never fascinated by Barbie dolls. I don't know why, but I will take like the horses and all of the cute little animals that come with them.
Hmm.
But I would never take to Barbie dolls. I don't know, but I was never given porcelain dolls. But I always thought of ballerinas as like porcelain dolls. They remind me of them. I don't know. That's just me. So I asked the owner and I said, how much for the beautiful doll? And he said, about $70. I said, okay, great. I'll take her. I didn't think anything of it. So he was like, okay. And she comes with a little hat. I have her hat, but I hide it from my cat because my cat likes to snuggle with her hat and her dress. He loves to cuddle her the most. Um, so I bought her, and our booth was actually by her grave when we were at the Paranormal Fest, which I
Oh.
didn't even realize until Manny said something. He was like, so why are we by this grave? And I said, well, we just want to be close to everything. And he was like, oh
Mhm.
yeah, good. We didn't think any, I didn't think anything. Arlene didn't think anything of it. And ironically, the people right across from us was NP Paranormal, the same people, these people that gave me Rebecca. We would meet again. Ironically, right? It's strange
So
how
you
that happens.
so maybe it was like the spirit tell you to go in there and buy this doll because I'm in I'm in her. Maybe maybe it chose you and just kind of like telepath your mind into, oh, get Jolene, get this doll, get me. So that could be.
Yes,
I believe in that. I believe that we sometimes things happens for a reason why we get
yes.
things.
And when we had went to the Black Swan Inn, this was the first time because I've only been there twice. The first time I did not know anything about the property. I'm going to be honest. I never read about it or anything like that. And then I'm very sensitive. I could see spirits, I could see orbs, I can see all of that. But I
Mhm.
didn't sense anything from her that day. I just thought she was the most beautiful doll. But that evening, we did see a lot of residual energies playing out because it was the anniversary of the Battle of Salado, which that creek does run on that property. And it's the Texas soldiers versus the Mexican soldiers. And
Mhm.
on the other side of the property, you will see soldiers. A lot of people always see soldiers battling each other. It's a residual energy that just continues and continues and continues. And some people have reported on the property seeing soldiers outside of the home and just wandering the property. So anyways, we kept seeing like smoke and everything, like a campfire, and we kept seeing black shadows and soldiers. That's what me, Arlene, and Manny saw, and we're like, yeah,
Mhm.
that's a residual energy. But like I said, we're all for that. We're all for the spooky life. So we're like, oh, that's so cool. So so when they told us again, the Curious Twins told us again, it was a following year that they're gonna have a psychic and a spirit fest. Manny wasn't able to go, but Arlene was like, I want to go back. I want to go back. So we were more open to it. Um, and of course, I had Jolene, but prior to that time, that the second time I had went back, I noticed a lot of things. So when I had brought her home, my cat was extremely very clutchy like this with her when I literally put her on my
Oh.
bed. And I've never seen my cat. He has all these stuffed animals that I buy him. I go to Petco, I go to all the pet stores. He's not like that with, I mean, yeah, he'll like lick them and then he'll walk away, right? My other
Mhm.
cat, he loves his stuffed animals, but it's just like, okay. So when I put her on my bed, he really, really responded to her immediately. So I was like, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah,
I also
animals
started to
know.
notice I also started to notice that my lights would flicker on and off, and I'm like, okay, at my old apartment, it used to be a portal. And I was like, I just moved into this new apartment. We're not by a cemetery or anything like that, so they should not be flickering on and off already. So I was like, okay, I'm just note number two. I'm just gonna keep that on the side note. The third thing I noticed is my bed would change a lot. I would leave here by 5 o'clock in the morning because I had my early job. I come back, it's just my cats here. That was it, and her. I come back and my whole bed was rearranged like somebody had slept in my bed.
Oh, wow.
That's wild.
So
And
I was like,
that didn't kinda freak you out or anything? You was just that's
I
good.
figured, I figured at that point there's something attached to her, and I need to probably research the property because there's probably a reason why that man was overjoyed that here you take this
Yeah,
doll. He probably knew that there was something already attached to her. He
something,
just didn't
yeah.
want to say it. Um, so when I researched about Jolene, I found out that she died of breast cancer. That
Oh,
was I was actually devastated when I found that out. And
Mhm,
number two, she was with her husband. Now he's buried right next to her. And apparently, yes, he was an attorney and he was well known for doing parties on the property. However, he had a very dark side and he was very abusive and controlling and possessive. That I did not know.
that's sad
And
for that.
for,
yeah.
yeah, so that part I did not know. But as me, as a person that survived domestic violence, that's how I knew that that's why she chose me because I'm a survivor of domestic
Yeah,
violence.
you guys
That's
have a
why she
bond
chose me.
together, a connection.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is great.
Yeah.
So do you research all of them?
What I do is I get their name
Mhm,
and I usually they show me pictures. Is the best way I could explain it is like memories. They show me their memories.
mhm.
So for Jolene, this is what she showed me, and I drew it. I don't know. Can you see it?
Oh, yeah, mhm.
So she's
Yes.
having her head. You see their graves
Yep.
by her husband. You see this house in the back and this
Mhm.
shadow man.
Yeah.
Okay. On the property, there is a little house like that. It's called the doll house. And
Oh.
apparently, her and her husband did have a little dollhouse. Well, I wouldn't say it's a little dollhouse. It's a big
Mhm,
dollhouse outside. Miss Rivera had confirmed. She even showed me, and she said Miss Rivera had told me that she's been having problems with it because every time she wants to fix it up and restore it to the way it used to be, because apparently it used to be inside the house, but it got swept away in a flood or something. She feels like somebody does not want her to try to mess with it, and she keeps getting a feeling of a hostility, a sincere hostile spirit.
oh.
Um, and the second time that I had went to the property, just me and Arlene, not Manny, I had encountered Jolene's husband, and I can see why she was very afraid of her husband. He is a very
Mhm.
aggressive and violent spirit, and he is not very kind towards the living. So I can see why she doesn't like him at all.
Yeah. I
So
can too. Yeah. That's traumatic for I mean,
yes,
I people always says, "Well, it's just a doll," but people don't realize that they have spirits sometimes, that gets
Yeah.
attached. And only thing they're looking for is someone to actually give them some TLC, to
Yeah.
care for them.
And what's crazy confirmation for me was I kept hearing secrets, secrets, secrets when I was getting close to this little house. And I felt a negative energy coming from
Mhm.
within that little home. I
Yeah.
had taken a picture, and that shadow man had shown up
Oh,
just like
wow.
the picture.
Wow, that's interesting. Very.
So that's exactly, he shows up to the living as a black shadow figure. That's how a lot of the tour guides that do ghost tours there, they
Mhm.
literally describe him as a black shadow figure, and they kind of get an FYI for your warning, just a warning. Um, there are six spirits in the home. There are several also outside the home, but there's one in particular that he might not be very kind to you. Just keep that in
Mhm.
mind. So yes, he still lingers on that property. Miss Rivera has had encounters with him, and he's just not a very nice man. He committed suicide, from what I understand. Some think his suicide was a little bit odd and how it was performed. So some people say that maybe he did somebody wrong and they try to claim it was suicide.
Mhm.
But either way, he's still lingers on that property. So,
Oh,
but
wow.
Miss Miss Rivera is very attached to the home, and Jolene likes to, on her free will from this doll, she likes to come here and she likes to travel from here to the Black Swan Inn. So even though they're an adult, they could still travel to people that they love. She loves Miss Rivera. She loves her
Mhm.
family. Um, the reason why she chose this doll in particular, though, is because she wanted to look like a princess. This doll, she has the flowers and stuff. She wanted
Mhm.
to dress very elegant.
It's a very
Elegant,
pretty
I'm
doll.
sorry,
Yes.
very elegant. But her husband was very, I have to keep a control on you. I don't want you being all flashy. And that was his reputation. And unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever seen any of them actually move, like their eyes or the head or their arm or legs? Oh,
Yes.
wow. Wow.
Um, I'll I'll show you two of them. So remember Ollie?
I remember Ella, yes.
Okay, so he has this lovely little tag on him,
Mhm.
right? And at the dollhouse, when people would ask him questions, and I've seen this here myself when I am literally walking by or something and he wants my attention, he will make this flip on its own when there's no AC on. I've seen this move on its own. Also, one of the mornings that I was going to work, I came home. It was just him and Jolene. I didn't have any of my other dolls. I literally had him and her over there on one side of my bed. I come home, all of my stuffed animals are rearranged, and my pillows are thrown off my bed. I know my cats cannot do that. They cannot physically
Oh.
rearrange the stuffed animals. And I asked Jolene who did it, and she pointed at Ollie. She was like, it was him.
Oh, wow.
So they get along very well because he likes to tell his war stories and she likes to tell about her beautiful home, the Victoria's Black Swan Inn. That's why they get along so well.
Oh, that's
So
good.
they're the best of buddies. Now, one of the other ones that I have that I've seen, this is Heidi.
Oh.
She's an older doll, but her eyes literally have moved on their own. She does not have no knobs or anything in her, no wires, nothing of that nature. She
Mhm.
doesn't move. But they keep changing and keep moving either left or right, and they also close on their own. So,
Oh, wow.
um, but yeah, she's one of the ones that her eyes will move. Um, so yeah, and for my sister, there's a reason why my sister don't visit.
Oh. Have you ever had any of them actually, like, hate each other?
So actually, I had to have one doll removed from here. She's not here with me. She lives with somebody else. So I had to relocate her to another home because she did not get along with Ollie and she did not get along with Jolene.
No.
Her name was Darlene, and she came from a Goodwill because I was like, oh, Goodwill, let me go there. So I thought it was such a great idea to go to a Goodwill, and I found this beautiful doll, and she was almost as big as a 4-year-old toddler. And I thought, oh wow, even better, right?
Wow.
And as soon as I picked her up, though, she had stuff in her hair
Mhm.
and I thought it was flowers or something, and I found out later on it was spider legs. Spider.
Oh.
So she had been thrown, but as soon as I lifted her up, all I heard was that she was thrown in a box,
Just a
not to be
disregarded,
seen,
yeah, toy that
disregarded, not to be
the kid
seen,
had.
not to be heard. So I kind of felt sorry for her. I really did. I brought her here and I started fixing her up because she was in really bad shape. When I brought her here, of course, Ollie and Jolene are very welcoming. They're like, you're
Mhm,
welcome to, welcome on board.
mhm.
They're very friendly. This particular doll didn't go for that. And she didn't like
Oh.
cats either. She was not friendly of cats. And she didn't like men. I figured that out later because I would literally see stuff in my apartment flying, books,
Oh, wow.
shoes. Um, and the reason was because she was abused by her husband. She hated
Oh.
men. So any man, even a little boy, would trigger her. And both
Oh.
my cats are boys. She didn't like that either. Just men in general. Mm-mm. So it got to the point where I would hear yelling and screaming, but it wasn't my neighbors. It was coming from inside my apartment. I heard bastard and just everything you could think
Oh,
of.
wow.
Um, the sliding doors, I would hear loud bangs, and it just got really bad. So I asked Darlene if this is not the environment for you, because Ollie was fed up, Jolene
Mhm.
was fed up. They're like, please take her, please take her anywhere else,
Get her
please.
out there.
We want our peace. This is not the peace. So I asked her, what do you want to do? Because obviously this is not the place for you. And this is their home. You have to
Mhm.
respect it. This is my home. This
Right.
is my cat's home.
Mhm.
Um, and she said, well, I just want to be around women. Okay. Do you prefer children? Yes. Obviously, I don't have children. I lost a child a few years ago.
Oh, I'm
Um,
sorry.
that's okay. But she just wanted to be around all women and children and puppy dogs. Apparently, she likes puppy dogs, which obviously I couldn't provide for her. But I asked her in this way, if you have a wish list, please let me know, like a
Mhm.
Christmas wish list. So, of all the things that she was asking for, I tried to find somebody that had all of that. And I found somebody with all of those requirements. That person came to pick up Darlene because that person also loves beloved haunted dolls. And apparently she's been happy ever since. But Ollie
Mhm.
was like, yes, yes, you got her out. So now, yeah, they're both him and Jolene are happy that, but apparently he's been telling everybody about horrible Darlene and how they don't want anybody like that ever again here because this is their peace kumbaya. So please don't ever bring anybody from Goodwill again. So yeah,
So
I'm
Clarabelle,
constantly reminded, don't do that. Don't
so
do that.
Clarabelle and Rebecca probably get all the 411 on Darlene, like, oh, hey, I gotta tell you something about we have this person here, and we didn't like her, and she got rid of her. I can just hear them talking. You know,
Yeah.
Jolene and Ollie
So
says, "Oh, I gotta tell you something." So
yeah, so every doll that I get a new doll, Jolene and Ollie have to let the new person know, hey, welcome aboard, but hey, I need to tell you this crazy story. It's like, no, we don't need to do that. This person doesn't live here anymore. Y'all need to stop that. So yeah, they like to gossip. They like to gossip, but they have their own personalities. Every one of them has their own personality. They're doing what they're doing. So the next person I have is River. Now, River actually suffers from depression. And in one of my videos that I uploaded to Facebook, I've had River for about 2 years, right? And people have investigated River. I would take him to the haunted dollhouse, and people would actually do the EMF detectors and dowsing
Mhm.
rod. However, I think it was about a few months ago, I noticed that he had tears in his eyes.
Oh.
So it was very different because it actually looks like real human tears.
Mhm.
That's not normal in a doll. He's not made to look like that. I showed all of my other dolls, they are not like that, but he suffers from depression and anxiety.
Mm.
And he remembers drowning in a river. And
Oh.
he constantly needs reassurance and everything. He's doing better though. He likes facing the window. He loves listening to the birds. He loves to cuddle with my cat. I'll put on the piano music for him. I'll put on Christmas piano music, and it helps his anxiety. Um,
Oh.
but he just doesn't. Um, he's having a hard time with because he's an old soul from the 1860. So he remembers a lot of factory, the factories from Britain, and everything was very different. And then now you have technology and all of this, and it's very just, it's too much for him. So, but
Mm.
everybody's trying to help him understand that it's going to be okay. But he's literally only 16 years old. He's a young 16-year-old.
I feel like I want
But
to hug him.
yeah,
Now,
the
s-
only,
speaking of that, okay. Now, I know if we ever meet,
hmm,
I'll be there, probably hugging all of them and say, "Oh, hi, hi." But have you ever had friends or family that have came over and go, "Oh, nope, not for me. I'm out of here, no," or be mean to them or anything like that?
I've had two people come over here, and she's brought her boyfriend. And they love everything paranormal. Her daughter loves haunted dolls. She loves even
Oh,
the new dolls
great.
that I bring here. Their most favorite is Ollie and Gustav. That's their favorite. And Gustav, I'm gonna show Gustav here in a little bit. And of course, they love talking to all the dolls. They like learning about the new dolls. And of course, River. They like coming to see River. Um, but my mom, in general, she likes spooky. So this is my mom. I like spooky stuff. I will watch Annabelle documentaries. I will watch Zach Bagans and everything like that. But when it comes to actually doing two ghost tours and stuff, I don't know about that. Yeah, that's my mom. Um, but my sister, so my sister's kind of like, I don't know. Yeah, your house is nice, but it's creepy because you have ghosts there. So I don't know about that. And I mean, my house literally it's not decorated like a spooky mansion. I mean, I have gnomes back there. I have pictures of Mary on my walls. I don't
Mhm,
have like anything dark or anything. It's like sunshine and rainbows pretty much. I mean,
mhm.
I have different holidays all over. So it's not spooky. I don't think so. It's just the dolls. But some people are comfortable with it. Some people they just get scared because I think what's happening is you have the horror film industry
Yeah.
pushing evil dolls and stuff, and they're
Mhm.
pushing that too much,
Oh,
way
yeah.
too much.
Oh, yeah.
And
That did it
that
for me. Yeah. When I saw a movie about dolls walking around and doing, scary stuff for people, and stuff, I'm like, "Okay, no more. I'm done." That was probably I was like 7 or 8, and I'm like, "Okay, I'm done with dolls. That's it." And then you have Chucky that came in the picture, and my youngest daughter was like, "Oh, no, no, no." She used to have a little buddy, or I should say her brother did, and
yeah.
the Chucky, was made to look like the little buddy or my little buddy and everything. And
Mhm.
no, after she saw Chucky, nope, poor little buddy was gone. No, she would have nothing to do with anything. So
Oh, wow. But
yeah.
I did find out from my mother that my great grandmother was a white witch, and she lived in West Virginia with my grandfather, my great grandfather. And she would also be a healer. She would go bless people's homes and everything, but she also had haunted dolls.
Oh.
So I remind her of my grandmother, my great grandmother, just collecting haunted dolls. And my mom remembers them as a little kid. And my grandma would tell her, "You have nothing to fear about the dolls. It's the living people you gotta be afraid of." And my mom was like, still trying to figure that one out. But
I
I
agree.
agree.
Yes.
So, but yeah, my mom's like, "You're just like your grandma, like your great grandma. You collect the haunted dolls, you do witchy stuff." But I mean, it just runs in the family. So that's probably why as well. The dolls
Yeah.
knew that. So yeah.
Yeah. Wow. So, well, let's see. Was it Goosebuff? Goose
Gustav.
Goose, yeah, let's see him.
Okay.
Yep, I remember him from last time.
Yeah. So he's one of the dolls that I got from Philip and his mom. He's kind of meant to look spooky. He's not spooky though, I assure you. Um, so he's actually a 98-year-old man, and he speaks English and German. He
Hmm.
died in the little town outside of San Antonio in New Braunfels. It was a natural death. The only thing he wants for living people to know is just be yourself and always
Mhm.
try to help in the community. That's his only regret is just trying to help people more. So he always wants to be helpful. He always wants to just volunteer for whatever because he just feels
Oh,
like there's always opportunities and he wishes he had more time to do that because he sees a need of helping people. There's just so much to help people. So that's the only thing. Um, my friend Amber and Emma, this is their favorite doll. They literally feel at peace with him. A lot of people says he just like literally just chills back and he'll just like have his hands out and everything. But he's very peaceful. And Emma had brought one of her haunted dolls that was given to her by a family member, and we put the spirit box. And they, Gustav and her doll were having quite a long conversation, so it was
oh
very
wow,
interesting. So yeah, he will talk to you. He's a very chill guy. So
wow.
I also have his wife Serena too. You want to see Serena? She's
Yeah, of
wearing
course I wanna
similar
see
clothes.
Serena.
This is lovely Serena.
Oh, they look great together. They really do.
Yeah, and I have them sitting together in there right by the little skeleton I have. So they just like to chill out with the skeleton. So, but she died of natural causes too. No trauma or anything. But she's like Gustav. She just has a lot of love to give. Um, but she's just very laid back. She's like a grandma that, okay, what do you want to tell me? What do you want me to tell you? So, um, yeah. And my cat, I have two cats, but my cat, like I said, he's a babysitter for all the dolls. He thinks of them as all of his kids. So he literally will cuddle with all of them. He has all, and then if I try to take any of them anywhere, he literally freaks out, and then he will not be at rest until I bring them home. All of them are home. He will literally look everywhere for the dolls to make sure they're all here. And my other cat, he likes to look at them. He likes to play with them. I have two other dolls that my friend Tony sent me, and their favorite cat is my other cat, Waffles, but we call him Moo and they call him Moos. So they like to interact with him. So the dolls have the cats that they love the most.
Mhm.
That's their thing here, besides, just living here. Because this is a very peaceful place to them. So
Well, that's great. That's great. Now, I know you got a new job as a guide, a tour guide. Um,
yes.
so tell us about that because this is really interesting because I think, yeah, I thought, wow, she has her job that she wants now as a guide. And, so I'm not going to kind of give her away. So tell the audience what kind of a job it is. What kind of tour guide are you?
So I am a ghost tour guide. I give historical tour guides of haunted places here in San Antonio, Texas. I literally meet you in the middle of downtown San Antonio, and I actually take you to haunted places in the downtown area that are actually verified haunted locations here in San Antonio. I did take some pictures of some of the haunted places, but I'm going to mention one of the places, make it more interesting. And it is one of the most haunted places in the world. A lot of people actually like to book this hotel. Um, it's very interesting because it has a lot of gargoyles around it, and it was featured in the Ghostbusters original movie. I can tell
Oh,
you that part.
wow.
A lot of people call it the Twilight Zone Hotel. It wasn't a hotel always. It was a medical building. It contained a maternity ward. It contained a psychiatric ward, a crematorium, and a morgue, all in that building. Um, so it's called the Emily Morgan Hotel today. And a lot of people have literally witnessed a lot of the patients from the old days, is how they put it,
Oh,
and literally have said that when they open their rooms, they literally go back in time. They have seen everything from patients having lobotomies,
oh,
patients that are delivering babies, but they notice that the doctors and the nurses are from different time periods, but obviously it's not from this time period.
mm,
They've seen doctors and nurses pushing dead patients down the hallways. The elevators have a mind of its own and it will take you down to the basement, which used to be the morgue. So there's full body apparitions and there's a whole lot of stuff that's going on in that place. But a lot of people book it out because of that reason. And a lot of people, they see this when they open their hotel room and they see that and they're like, oh, hell no. They close it and then it's back to a hotel. So that's why a lot of people call it the Twilight Zone Hotel because it's like you literally just step back in time. Like people are mind boggled by it. They're like, I don't even know how to explain that. So a lot of
Oh,
people are
wow.
just like, "Oosh." So some people think it might be have to do with the gargoyles. I don't know. It's totally up to you. But I take people up to the hotel. We can't go inside, but people are more than welcome to take pictures of the spooky looking gargoyles. Some of them look like patients, like those old witches that are like this with the old
Mhm.
nose and they have a
Yeah.
hood. And
Mhm.
those are some of the gargoyles on the outside of it. So it's interesting. um, on the very top, it used to be the crematorium, so people would literally say that it looked like snow was coming in San Antonio. It doesn't really snow in San Antonio, so people didn't realize that people were being cremated up there.
Mhm. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
And now they have a swimming pool up there, so I wish people the best of luck up there. I mean, you don't know, but yeah. A lot of people, they just some people they check in and they literally check out 5 seconds later because they find out very fast how haunted that place is. And it's right next door to the Alamo. So
Oh, so you probably show yeah, so you show everybody the Alamo too, I'm
it's right
assuming.
next door to the Alamo, yes.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Now, Annabelle was visiting in San Antonio, um,
Yes.
just probably what, probably 5 days ago, I think. Now
Yes.
you didn't get to see her because I asked you and you say you didn't get to see her. Did
Mm-mm.
anything happen after she left or when she was there?
I would say no.
No? Mm.
No.
Because I know in, I think it was at New Orleans, the plantation burned down and everybody's
Mhm.
blaming Annabelle, you know? And, it's just like, wait a second here, you guys. She's probably from over here in this area, and the plantation's over here. So, she may not even have anything to do with it. It was just a coincidence. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's interesting though. It really is because I know a lot of people is like, oh, she did this, she did this. She's gonna go someplace else and somebody's gonna get hurt or anything like that. Um, You know, um, Annabelle's a whole total different, I guess, level everybody else. They say she's the most haunted doll.
Object.
Yeah, and maybe she is, Um, I don't
Well,
know.
I was gonna mention to you, Chrissy, the year, what was it? And I think it was 2023. The
Mhm,
second time that I was at the Black Swan Inn. Now they did have the Psychic and a Spirit Fest. They did have the Warrens Museum inside of the Victoria's Black Swan Inn.
mhm,
However, at that time, they did have the replica from the Conjuring movie. And
mm,
they did say that the doll itself that they used on set did have paranormal experiences to it.
yes,
However, it was
I
not
heard
the
that.
real Annabelle at the time. And a lot of people are also confused on the internet because when they see the Conjuring Annabelle and they see the real Annabelle, which is a Raggedy Ann doll, they're like,
Yeah,
no, that's not the real Annabelle.
right,
I had somebody on TikTok say that it was a fake Annabelle that was in the Victoria's Black Swan Inn because it was a Raggedy Ann. And I literally told her, please Google the real Annabelle because it is a Raggedy Ann doll. It is not the Conjuring one that you are thinking
right,
of. So a lot of people are
yes,
confused because they are thinking they're being bamboozled.
yeah,
But no, the real Annabelle is a Raggedy Ann doll, and she is inside a glass, and she is a very haunted object. And she is something that you need to proceed with caution, and you
yes,
need to have the highest respect and highest regards, even with the dolls that I have.
mhm,
Yes, I do have nice dolls. I have nice 17 haunted dolls,
mhm,
but you just heard that I had to remove one because they can get
yep,
violent with people and including other spirits if they don't like them. So
Yeah.
that's just part of it.
Yeah.
So
On June 12th, we got confirmation that we will be having, I'm not going to say who we're going to have. Well, you know, because I told you beforehand. But for anybody else that's in the audience, we are going to have somebody who is close to Annabelle to come on the podcast on June 12th. It's going to be at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time and talk about Annabelle. So it'd be pretty interesting, really interesting. Um, you know, and after talking to you not just once but twice now, you're fascinating about it because you just like because a lot of people is like, oh no way, I'm not going to even come close to one, and here you are housing 17 of them, taking care of them and everything. So that's really cool. um
yeah.
Now, do you have a spirit box with you all the time to maybe, talk to them, trying to figure everything out? Because I know you said your friends have had some.
So I am trying to actually save up money for a spirit box. I use my abilities to communicate with them, and a lot of times I draw what they try to give me. I write
Mhm,
down names. Um, so that is, I'm just literally going by what has been passed down through me through generations of what runs in my family, is what I
yeah,
call it. No, I don't do any courses, or I'm not in a coven or anything. This all
mhm.
comes from the bloodline.
Well, that's
Um,
great.
so I do have a picture that I did draw of Ollie. That's Ollie.
Oh, wow.
So that's what I do. I draw what I see, what they want me to draw. Um, I get dates and everything. I will go to a history part of the library. I will confirm
Mhm,
dates to see if it's legit. And I started having these abilities since I was literally a teenager.
mhm,
Um, the first time that I started talking about, well, paranormal stuff really
mhm,
was when we took a field trip to the UTSA building, not UTSA building, I'm sorry, the building in Austin where they pass the bills and everything.
mhm.
And while we were there, I kept seeing horses and I kept seeing men running around and lots of fire. I didn't know the history of that place. We were just there because we were there for science and our school sent us there. And that
Mhm.
they thought it would be a great education experience to learn about bills and laws and fun stuff like that. So we were doing that. Okay, I
Yeah.
wasn't planning to have a paranormal experience at all. Um, so, and we were also later towards the end of the tour after the building and everything. There was bathrooms, and I noticed that, of course, you have your lawmakers. They're in nice suits and ties. The ladies, they're
Yeah.
more in gowns and everything, if they
Mhm,
choose, or business dresses if they want to, suits and ties as well. And I noticed that, of course, some of them were going to the restroom, but I noticed that there was one man in particular that he was not dressed like the other people. He was wearing like what I would say like Abraham Lincoln kind of clothes. That's the best way I described it to my mom. But people were passing through him and he's just looking at the people like, excuse me, how rude of you. Why don't you see me? And I told my mom, and my mom literally was like the one that looked this stuff up, everything that I was describing. So she actually found out that the things that I was describing, that there was actually two fires in that building during the making of that building. And horses did die, and the gentlemen that were doing the construction of it, they actually did pass away. So that confirmed me seeing the fires and the men screaming and running in all of those fires.
Wow.
Also, there was a gentleman. he was actually shot at and he died in his office in that building. One part of his face is normal, the other part kind of looks fine, except his skull is missing where they shot him at. So he wears
Oh,
his hat to cover it. And he literally just wanders around there. And there's also another woman that she has a red dress. And when people try to
mhm.
approach her, she disappears.
Yeah.
So my mom was actually shocked because the stuff that I was explaining is actually stuff that was confirmation. Um, so another thing was when I was working at the San Antonio Haunted Doll Museum, um, my boss had asked, since I can see spirits, if I could please draw one of the spirits
Oh.
offhand.
Mhm.
This is a little girl.
Oh.
Okay. So my boss literally showed me her phone, and this is pretty much what most paranormal teams have captured,
Wow.
including on her cameras and everything on her property. But they all talk about the same little girl wearing a dress, staring out the window from the gift shop, and she's
Mhm.
always downstairs. So it's the same little girl, same dress, and she likes to follow people around. So that's what I'm saying. It's
Mhm.
passed down generational. I'm
Yeah.
literally being shown what they want to show me with Jolene, with her husband. Um, she's just looking back at that guy at that little house and the black shadow figure. And
Mhm.
then I went to the Victoria's Black Swan Inn. Miss Rivera showed me that house, that yes, this house is actually real. I actually captured a picture of the black shadow figure that is known as Mr. Park Street. So there was a
Wow.
confirmation. Um, so a lot of this stuff that I'm drawing is confirmed that yes, what I'm seeing is actually yes, it's real, it's legit.
Oh, wow. Wow. We have somebody who commented that they have several haunted toys. Uh, I don't think I ever had haunted toys, maybe. I can't remember. I was the only child growing up, so I had a lot of imagination, imaginary
Yeah,
friends and everything, so I really never had anything haunted, I don't think. Now, I seen a haunted doll that my cousin had that kind of, taunted my daughter Amy for a while. Let me see if I got a picture of it. Let me see. I may not, but my cousin had to get it exercised by a
oh
friend.
my gosh.
Oh yeah, it was I wouldn't say it was kind of bad or anything though, but it just it just liked my daughter so much that it just kept pestering her a lot. So I don't think I have it. Let me see. No, I just cleaned out my drive, so I probably don't have it. Mark also said that he had a 70s monkey that played
Mhm.
the cymbals without its batteries and had a
Yeah,
Cherokee mud statue, the Mud Man, that is powered or a lot like Annabelle. Wow. Hmm. Cool. Maybe.
and with toys, whether it's toys or dolls, you have to figure that they when they're introduced to you as a child, they
Mhm.
attach energy usually because they witness your whole life, just like in Toy Story. That's the best way to describe
Yeah.
it for people.
Uh,
So they
I
see
I
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Did that doll just move?
Yes.
I like music.
Okay, so it came up by its own. Let me play that again so you can see it here.
It came up on its own.
Yeah, it came up by itself. So
That ain't good.
could ask-
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Did that doll just move?
so
Yes.
so so that was the haunted one. Her name was Meredith, and as you can tell, she just moved on her own when they were
Yeah.
talking to each other. And this happened on TikTok when it was on TikTok. All of a sudden, she just her head bent down, and after that, it's just like he was. My cousin was saying, this is Amy. She always she always wanted to talk to Amy, my daughter, and everything, and who was supposed to be on tonight, but um, sometimes 2-year-olds don't want to go to sleep. So, but yeah, but it actually when Amy saw that, and then she went to bed and everything. She had something crawling on her bed that was grabbing the blankets away from her and stuff. Kept saying her name. So I'm not saying it was Meredith. I don't know, but it happened a few days where she actually wanted me to stay night with her in the room because she was kind of like afraid and everything. And
Yeah.
but after my cousin got it exercise and everything, he kept the head, but the rest of the body is gone, and
Oh, wow.
everything stopped. So whether it was Meredith or not, we don't know. So,
I
but
had
it's interesting.
I was watching a video of somebody, and she had tried to post this doll. She's an older woman. She's in her 70s, and she has this beautiful doll. It's a porcelain doll. And it comes with the horse. It looks like a horse. And this doll, I think it came from the 1930s, 1940s. And but she has a big old caution biography at the bottom, and she says proceed with caution. She literally explains that this doll had belonged to her sister. Her sister was unfortunately taken to a psychiatric ward after she was fine one day, and then she started becoming aggressive and violent, and her family decided it was best to take her to a psychiatric ward back in the old days.
Mhm.
And they don't know what happened to her sister, but she
Mm.
had died with the doll. The
Mm.
doll was given back to her, and it was placed in her home. And she said that ever since she's had the doll in her home, she's been met with a lot of aggression. She'd had scratches. Would find
Mm.
her cupboards open. She would see a black shadow figure lunging at her. She literally tries to sell this doll because she doesn't want it. And she literally tells people in the witchy community or anybody interested in this doll, or even paranormal people,
Mhm.
paranormal team, if you want this doll, please, please just be warned that because of the energy of the doll and her trauma and everything, it's a very high intense, and it may have to be a one-on-one doll. So yeah, I've
Oh,
seen
wow.
stuff like that. And some people have to think about that because some dolls, depending on what had happened to them and why they chose the
Mhm.
doll, um, some of them may lash out at people.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because I think that's probably, what happened with the Meredith part because Amy did get, I mean, she didn't get vicious attack, but she did get like, let me scratch you to know that I'm here. You know,
Scared her.
it
Yeah.
just scared her because she never really had. I mean, she had some other paranormal things happen when she was a kid, like shadow people and stuff like that. We had spirits, but she never actually had somebody like
A
or something like
malicious,
this.
malicious spirit.
Yes, so it really scared her and everything. But it's in the past now, so thank goodness for that. But
Yeah.
I think that's why I think the movies kind of gives the porcelain dolls a bad name because, there was a movie back in the 70s, I think, Valley of the Dolls. Then you got Chucky, you got Puppet Master, so and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh," and they do get scared. And I think
Yeah.
that's
A lot
why
of a
they
lot
they
of the
go on
dolls
them.
end up at Goodwill. A lot of the
Yeah.
porcelain dolls end up at Goodwill, garage sales. I've seen listings and listings on Facebook of free dolls, haunted dolls, possibly. I don't know. Just please take it because I don't know. I just don't want it. So
Wow.
yeah, and it's unfortunate, but I mean, like the dolls that I have, like I said, you wouldn't think anything, but a lot of them they've had traumatic experiences. Some of them murder, some of them they took their own lives, and they're still
Mhm.
processing. Some of them depression. Some of them they were a soldier and they still think I need to be a soldier. I still need to protect. So
Yeah.
you don't know what you're getting sometimes. It's like life is like a box of chocolates. I'm literally going to use that phrase because you don't know sometimes what you're getting. So, yeah.
Yeah. So anybody out there who has um a porcelain doll and does not want to keep it, ship it to Tiffany. She would take good care of it. So,
Yeah.
um,
And I
so
have my handy dandy EMF detector too. So,
mm,
um, two dolls that I did get from my friend on Facebook. I'm going to show you. This is Ryan.
oh,
Um, Ryan makes it go high. We
oh
have Ryan.
wow, he does.
So, the person that sent me Ryan, and I have the other doll she sent me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my friend had these in her room with her most of her life. She never thought anything about these dolls. She sent them here with me, and she asked me while they were at her house if I could pick up any names. I picked up Ryan off of him and Chloe off the other one. This is Mrs. Chloe. That's Chloe.
Oh, looks like a Southern Belle.
So when I got them here, though, I found out that they are actually haunted. My friend
Oh,
didn't know they were haunted. She literally had them in a glass case. But her son really loved this doll. Um, but he's getting a little bit older. She's
yeah.
getting a lot older. She said, I just don't
Mhm.
have time for them anymore. Um, the person that is attached to this is her great grandfather, Ryan. And the reason why he
Yeah.
chose to be in this doll is because he loves he wants to be a little kid again. And he loved the
Oh,
rain. He loved the rain. That
reminds
was his
me of
favorite.
Christopher off of Winnie the Pooh.
Christopher Robin, yeah.
That's it,
And
Christopher Robin.
the
Yes.
reason why my friend bought this doll is because she said it looks like her son. So that's
Oh,
why she bought the doll, but she didn't know that it was the grandfather influencing her
mhm.
to buy this doll
Yeah.
because he wanted to look after her and her son. So,
Oh,
but unfortunately, he passed away due to medical complications, pneumonia. So that's Mr. Ryan. And this is Chloe. She looks like a Southern Belle.
yep.
Now, Chloe actually died in 1932. So she died during the Great Prohibition. Flapper. She was a flapper.
Mhm.
She remembers being drinking a little too much over a broken heart. Now, Chloe was a lesbian, which was not acceptable at that time, by the way.
Right.
But her message to people today is to love yourself honestly, and be more accepting of people that are different because it wasn't tolerated back then. So she didn't have a lot of support. The reason why she likes this little pink hat was because they had cloche hats back in the day, and it kind of
Mm,
almost looked like this, and it had the little flowers. If
mhm.
you look up on Google or go to your local library and you look up the flappers and 1920s cloche hats, a lot of them look like this, and they had the little flowers that they wore. That was a fashion. So
Wow. Wow. I mean,
Yeah.
it's this, like I said, to me, you are amazing to have all of them, all 17, you're like their mom or their big sister, and that's really cool because you're taking care of them and everything. And I do believe, like I said before, that sometimes they choose you, you know, and they kind of influence you of saying, take me, take me, take me, you know, and that's pretty cool. So how do you think about do you think that they do influence you to take them?
I think what happens is they can sense on a soul level that there's some kind of connection. And a lot, like I said, a lot of them, they do have some kind of trauma. And I went through a lot of trauma. I'm healed now, but I'm a natural healer, so I'm here to kind of heal people. I have people walk up to me, they tell me their stories. Some of this stuff I'm like, whoa, I don't think you need to tell me that. Maybe you should take that to your grave. But that happens a lot, right? If you're a
Mhm.
healer, you attract all kinds of people.
Oh, yeah.
Um, but regardless, I'm here to help people. And I've been working at the nursing homes because I love working with the elderly.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm usually, I work between life and death, is what I call it. So I'm kind of a person that goes in between. Um, and I think it's a little bit of that. And I'm giving guidance to the dolls, the spirits in the dolls, giving them their rights because I worked in hospice, giving them their rights, kind of being a counselor. Hey, did you know that as a victim, you shouldn't have
Mhm.
to been feel ashamed of going through that. So
Right.
people don't know that. They just see a doll and they're like, the doll went through that. Yes, that's why that person is stuck in that doll. That doll reminds them of when they were a kid, maybe
Mm,
when they were a baby, like
yeah,
Miss Clarabelle. The reason why
yeah,
she chose that doll is because it reminds her of a baby when she was a baby. But she had breast cancer, and the regret is she didn't have enough time, and she
right.
wanted to be a kid again. She wants to feel. Who doesn't want to feel like a little kid again? Everybody wants to. I want to be
Yeah.
carefree. I don't want bills. I don't want bills. I want to be able to run around
Don't wanna
and eat
grow up.
popsicles and Cheez-Its, and that feels great.
Mhm,
But when you're literally, because when I picked her up and I'm literally seeing an old woman with tubes in her throat, tubes all over, medical tubes, and you're
mhm,
getting ready to pass, that's not the best feeling in the world. And knowing you hear doctors, you hear mumbling, and well, you're not going to pull through. I'm so sorry. How do
yeah,
you feel as a person then? You know that your life's going to be ripped away from you.
yeah,
So a lot of people have to understand from their point of view, you
mhm,
know, I passed on, I'm in a doll, but I'm trying to offer you, you're helping me, I help you. I want you to know this. So it's kind
mhm.
of going both ways in a mutual way. So
So I got one more question for you that I while you was talking, I just thought of it. So when Samhain comes around, which is Halloween for some folks, okay, so we honor the ancestors. Do you do anything special for the dolls to honor them because since they have passed on into adult, or do you kind of honor them somehow?
So I do celebrate Samhain, and I do celebrate Dios de Muertos, which is Day of the Dead. And I
Yep.
already have an ofrenda, or some people know it as an altar, but in Spanish we call it ofrenda.
Right.
And it's by my mirror of all the people that have passed away that were very personal to me. And their pictures are up there. I have candles. I don't have any deities or anything.
Mhm.
And the saying is, you tell their story so that their legacy continues on,
Mhm.
their life continues on when you remember them, when you pass their story, whatever that
Mhm.
it may be.
Yeah.
And interesting enough, I had a conversation with a gentleman, and he was asking, he asked me a similar question, but I told him, since I've worked with so many people, I'm literally interacting with so many people that have already passed on. But I
Mhm.
feel that whatever this conversation we have today, whatever is most important to you, please remember that it came from somebody that is no longer on this planet. And that really struck a chord with him.
Yeah. I believe it.
So I told him I've worked with a lot of people that are no longer here, but I pass their stories on. Now, with Dios son Muertos, what happens is we celebrate their lives. I don't really like to celebrate death. I would rather celebrate their lives. That's how I view it.
Yeah.
Life,
Yeah. I can see that. I think you
life
should.
is life is very colorful. So in my apartment, you're not gonna see it all black and murky and haunted mansion vibes. No, my apartment has Easter colors. It has all the holidays. It has random unicorns. It has gnomes. It
It
doesn't
has
make sense.
sunshine and
It
rainbows.
doesn't make sense to some people. Okay, it doesn't make sense. But the point is it's life. It's colorful because my
Mhm.
grandma came from Mexico, and that's how she wanted to be remembered. She wanted
Yeah.
her life to be remembered very bright, very beautiful.
Mhm.
So the dolls, they like that, simply because they want to be remembered in a positive way, not a negative way.
Yeah. I can
So
understand that.
yeah, they want to be remembered in that way. So I like candles and I share their stories. And that's a tradition of Dios Son Muertos. I share their wisdom with you, even though they are somebody that is physically not here anymore. And there's three ways that people pass away. So I'm going to share them with you, because here in America, we get that phone call, hey, somebody passed away, and then a funeral, and then okay, bye bye, they're done.
Right.
But in Mexico, we have three beliefs, sorry. So the first one is your body shuts down, right? The physical part.
Right.
The second part is the funeral. You actually go to the funeral, they bury you, you are no longer with your loved ones. You are put away, out of sight, out of mind. And
Mhm.
that's a second death. And that's scary to think about, right?
Right.
No one
Mhm.
wants to think like that. They don't even see you
Yeah.
anymore. The third one is when they stop speaking about you, your memory, your name is obsolete, no more. And to a lot of people, that scares them. They
Yeah.
want to be remembered for something. A lot of people, before they pass away, they want to be remembered for something.
Oh,
So that's
I can
why
feel that.
in Mexico, we always say that there's three deaths. And for Dios de Muertos, we celebrate their life. Even though that person is no longer with us, we still speak about it. I talk about my grandma every day. I talk about all the people that have passed away. I still talk about them like they're sitting in the room with me today, including the dolls, because they are still here, just in a
That is
different form.
excellent. Yeah.
Just a different form. And to other people that, hey, they might not like dolls, but hey, let me tell you from advice, hey, somebody told me to tell you, a little birdie, and they might receive it a little bit better.
Mhm.
So that's just how I address that. So
Oh, that is very nice. Well, we are coming to the end. A little bit past that, but we got a late start in a way.
yeah,
Tiffany, I just want to say thank you so much because I mean, I think what how you do with your dolls. I mean, you care for them, and that's good. A lot of people is probably sitting here going, "These guys are crazy," you know. But no, it's not because just what you just said, about the memories of them, you know, it should be told, no matter if it's good memories or bad memories, you know.
yes, they all have
And
a
that's
story.
good.
All 17 have a different story, and they all want to share their stories with people. They all
Mhm.
do.
Oh yeah.
And I could literally probably sit here the next 30 years telling you all of
Well,
advice, good and bad, and then and the river's going to tell me, no, sir, we're not doing that today. So yeah, but I mean, I would probably spend the next 300 years if I was to do all 17 of them. But
yeah.
regardless,
Yeah.
yeah, they all have their own stories. But yeah, I mean, it's a very
Mhm.
rewarding thing too. That's what I want people to know.
And we would definitely have you on again. We did about 6 months ago, so probably another 6 months. Keep me updated if you get any newcomers coming into your life and everything. But it's always great talking to you, and I love it. So, but I just wanted to let everybody know that subscribe, like, and share. And you never know where our podcast is going to go to. You'd be surprised. So, but until next time, goodbye, everybody.
Bye.